Assuming that. Yes, sir. Okay, any other evidence than the 200,000? Not to my knowledge, sir. Okay. The next aggravator is that the crime was especially heinous, atrocious, and cruel. What evidence do you have of that? Well, we allege that Mr. Demons, through his assistance of Mr. Henry,
been having some weird shit. You be like, are they a couple?
you know, killed two of his closest friends cold-blooded, you know, shot them in the head. So, I mean, just to kill close childhood friends is extremely heinous and cold-blooded, okay? Do you have any evidence to indicate that? No. I mean, other than the manner in which the murder transpired, no, sir. No other evidence. Okay. Next aggravated was that the crime was committed in cold, calculated, and premeditated manner. What evidence do you have for that? Well, the premeditated manner is the method to where they drove onto US 27 and Pembroke Road. It's an isolated area. All the evidence indicated they made it there with quite ease, in and out very quickly. There was no hesitation in the route. It appeared by what we saw with the video evidence, they knew where they were going and they were returning. When you say it appears the location was found with great ease, do you know the exact location where these gentlemen were shot and killed? Yes, sir. Where is that? It's on Pembroke Road. It would be on the south side of Pembroke Road, just east of US 27. Do you know if they were shot before they arrived at the location? They were not. Definitely not shot before they arrived. How do you know that? Based on the evidence at the scene. You're relying upon some experts, I assume. Is that correct? Yes, sir. The other aggravator is that the felony was committed by a criminal gang member. What evidence do you have that Melly and Cortland are members of a gang? By their own admissions. Just by their own, you know, under the Florida state statute identifies what a gang member is. I don't remember the statute offhand, but, you know, Mr. Demons, he, you know, used hand signals, had to identify, you know, blood gang membership. He mentions in his own writings his affiliation with the blood unit, blood gang. You're talking about the music or no? Text messages? Yes, text messages. There's also text messages where between him and another individual, I can't remember the name.
Just wanted to show y'all, when I be doing any kind of gang signs or whatever, those are not real gang signs. That's my new chat gang signs that I'm making up. Okay, this is all for fun. I'm not gonna lie to you.
He pledges allegiance or alliance to the United Blood Nation. Just in text message.
Just if y'all thought, oh, he's a gang member. No, I'm not a gang member.
It's just written. He is.
I'm just black and I have dreads, so.
Identified himself as a gang member. When did you obtain Melly's phone? What purports to be his phone? That would be, I believe, when we met with Mr. Haddad and Jameson Francois, Melly's manager at 100K Track. That would have been February 28th, 2019. Who did you actually obtain the phone from? Melly's manager. You can tell about the actions within the phone that is being used by Melly. So next week, if there isn't a mistrial and all the phone evidence comes up, it's going to get real interesting. It's going to be very persuasive for a jury to see all the phone tracking data and everything. Also, I found a big fact here. 9 out of the 12 jury are women. I don't know what that means. He was laying in a bed. He was not handcuffed or anything like that. He was just a victim. Did he ever mention that Melly was in the vehicle when the incident occurred? No, sir. At the time during the initial contact with Henry, did you advise him that he did not have to answer any of your questions? No, because he was just a victim/witness. He wasn't a suspect. There was no reason to even assume he was a suspect at this point. And to summarize that, it was that he was driving home and another vehicle pulled up and started to shoot at them. Yes, sir. Then the detective Toyota drove him to where they thought the location was. He wasn't from the area, so he gave him the benefit of the doubt. We went back there and searched the area and still couldn't find it. Henry basically was discharged from the hospital. I left. I seen him leaving with Jamie King, who is Jamie King, the mother of Melly. She says that the only thing that she knew was that her son was involved in a drive-by shooting and she can't get a hold of him, which we later determined to be a lie because apparently when she was talking to us, she knew exactly where he was at. He was at Frederick Given's house, but for whatever reason, she decided to give us a different version. Fredo Bang's house. Was Henry asked if he had any gang affiliations during the initial interview with him at the hospital, correct? Yes, sir. And he denied having any gang relationship, correct. Did you have any suspects? We had nothing at that point. Do you recall during an investigation of ever telling a witness that you don't believe them and you could be charged with a crime and end up doing life in prison? I'm sure I have, yes. Okay, do you recall which witness? Jameson Francois, Melly's manager, because later on it came out that, you know, it appeared he had little more involvement than what we initially knew. This man threatened Melly's manager? Holy shit. Is that standard practice to threaten a witness to tell him you don't believe them, you're lying? Is that part of your normal police procedure? It depends. It depends on the situation. We're trying to elicit a response. Another about asked about Mr. Withers, which was one of the guys that was in the red car that was next to the Jeep when they were leaving the studio. They say, did Mr. Withers change his story? Because apparently at first he was saying he didn't tell them anything about Melly being there. So now they're confronting him when they find out Melly was there. His story did change. He said that at the point we had the video from the recording studio and it showed who got in that vehicle, who was sitting where, and it showed them departing. So he presented them with this new information and that's when he changed his story. Going down 595 to 75, they had to pull over because Melly, you know, had to urinate, go to the bathroom. And that's what he pulled over for whatever reason. I think there was a fight in his vehicle, so there was a fight in the black Jeep, so he got in the red Mitsubishi with the guys and they went back to his house. And that was the statement of the night, yes sir. So this guy is saying there was a fight in the Jeep, Melly had to pee, got out and got in that car with them. Not adding up. Again, putting Melly in the vehicle, yes. Anytime did you threaten him or say, I don't believe you, or you could end up charged with a crime? I could have, sir. I'd have to review the full statement. But in both instances, he told you and they went back to his house. And that was the statement of yes. Anytime did you threaten him or...
If that's the case, isn't this an end shot? Wait, what? What?
Say, I don't believe you, or you could...
Even if you think that sounds fishy, it doesn't matter. You have no other evidence. What the fuck is going on here?
And I'm charged with a crime.
The fact that the prosecutors would actually take this to trial is unbelievable.
I could have, sir. I'd have to review the full statement. But in both instances, he told you that Melly was in his car. Is that correct? Correct. I'm talking about the red car. And you know there was video evidence that showed, you know, Melly was in the Jeep, but then we had statements saying that, you know, he wasn't in the Jeep, that there was some type of changing of vehicles. Well, this is a good question. While we're on the Jeep, is there any evidence other than the video showing that Melly got in the car to link him to this shooting? Based at this time or throughout the whole investigation, as we sit here today, what evidence do you have other than the video indicating that Melly was in the vehicle at the time of the shooting these two gentlemen? Okay, based upon the totality of the circumstances, the manner in which both individuals were shot, it points back, you know, to the left rear passenger seat. There's no communication whatsoever of them to meet up, to buy drugs, buy guns, to meet with someone. There was no communication. You know, these guys talked every single day on social media, buying drugs, buying whatever, but not that day, not that morning. Where they were going, what they were doing. Then you take into some account of his social media postings. From the phone you received from Melly's manager, the Instagram, I'm sure you saw 480,000 pages of Instagram. There's a conversation between himself and individual Patrick DeLoach, which was PZ Gambino, another rapper. PZ Gambino said, hey, are you okay? And Melly said, yeah, I did that shit. And he had the next line was shush, like shush. There's no reference in any of the reports about lyrics or anything like that. This case is not based upon lyrics or songs or anything like that. They're all the people that keep bringing up Melly's songs and lyrics. Even the detective isn't bringing up that bullshit. But based upon what we've seen at this point, he was definitely in the car and was definitely the shooter. Okay, was there any DNA, fingerprints, blood, anything of that nature that matched Melly? Well, no, sir. Okay, was there any weapons recovered that indicated that Melly touched?
What's going on? Am I crazy? What is going on, bro? This is Florida at its worst. What the hell is going on here? They literally have nothing. They tried so hard to get him on a death penalty with a case that has nothing.
To possess a weapon that caused the death of...
Bro, anyone could have been in the car. They cannot even put the person in the car. There's no witness. There's no motive. And what's the main thing? There's no witness. There's no motive. There's no gun. There's nothing. I can't believe you can just bring a whole bunch of experts in here talking about what ifs, and you guys can't even put the person in the car. No video evidence. Nothing. Just whoever shot him came from the back seat. That could mean anything, bro. You cannot take someone to trial for this. It doesn't make sense. How the hell you could be working for 4 years? That's what you were working for 4 years. You were hoping. You were waiting. Y'all thought man was going to take a plea or something. It did not work, bro. Y'all actually took this to trial. This is not going to... Boy, y'all about to get a mistrial on like the 4th day. Bro, there better be more evidence than this, bro.
Either one of them.
This just makes... This is sloppy. It's completely sloppy.
We're unable to recover any weapon. We knew that the weapons were discarded.
It's almost like, man, we have to take him to trial because we've been working on this for 4 years. Like, bro, what the hell is going on, bro? I'll tell you again. 3 main things. No gun. No video evidence of the person being in there. No witness. And no motive. Nothing. Nothing. Doesn't check none of those boxes. No gun. No motive. No witness. No video evidence. What the hell are we doing, bro? No DNA.
they're thrown out of the
No gunpowder residue. Gunpowder residue is on Portland, not on his. What are we doing? What the hell? That shows you, bro. If they have it against
vehicle.
you, like if they have you, like they were trying to get you beforehand, trust me, bro. They're gonna do whatever it takes to get you. Break the law. They don't care. This is just a shame, bro.
Later that day, sometime around noon on the 26th, before going up to their
Listen, you may think, damn, he wants Melly. Listen, if Melly did the shit, whatever's gonna happen to him is gonna happen to him. I don't care if he's in or out. I have no horse in the race. But I'm like, bro, huh? What am I listening to? The directory, the bullet went this way. He was in the car. The phone was in the car. You know how many times I left my phone in the car? The other passengers are saying he got in the other car with them. And you're telling about, well, we know that's not true because of the phone conversation, the phone, whatever. Bro, people leave their phones all the time. Y'all, so pretty much y'all have nothing. Okay.
beach. Weapons were recovered from a wooded area not too far from the crime scene. One weapon, I'm sorry.
And you can't look at the family hating him because remember, the family didn't hate him until after the prosecutors came around and made Melly look like a bad guy. If everyone's telling you he's the one who did this, then you're gonna obviously hate the guy when trial comes. If like, damn, everyone's telling us he did this. But that's the funny thing. They could taint your name, make you look like a bad guy, and then come in the courtroom and say, well, we don't really know if he was in the car. No, we definitely know he's in the car. Okay, what evidence y'all have he's in the car? We got cell phone towers. Wait, no witness? No. No gun? No. Why would he do that? For $200K. What? You mean he killed his best friends for $200K? The car was driving around for 7 hours. But doesn't that mean Portland should be doing the murder case? Why the hell is Melly in here? Well, we know they did it. Okay. They can't even put him in a car. Everyone's saying he's not in the car. You have no evidence. You have no evidence. And now, I don't know if he did it, but there is no evidence.
Sorry, but we were never able to recover any weapons, and the fact that Melly was unable to
Trajectories, there was no drive-by shooting. Like, bro, for all y'all know, y'all saying it's a no drive-by shooting, right? These boys are not even talking. So, for all y'all know, someone easily could open the door. Matter of fact, I heard this I heard this yesterday. They opened the back door. Some niggas, they were just chilling. He opened the back door, stuck his hand inside the car, and started blasting. Think about that. Especially if, let's say, if Melly wasn't on the left passenger side. Someone opened the door, put their hand in the car, and started blasting. Like, I'm just saying, I don't know if that happened. But there's 100% chance they don't know what happened. It don't matter how many experts.
We interviewed the day of the shooting. We don't know what is closed.
Except the coroner is going to be very important. Because the coroner can be like, all right, bro, this man got 7 other shots in him, and he was already dead. Okay, then I would be like, okay, damn, what is going on here? But still, that still doesn't put evidence that Melly was in the car at the exact time. Now, maybe if they have, like, he made calls when he was in there. He made calls when he left. Like, it was always in his possession. He was making calls throughout the time, throughout the 7 hours. then maybe they could. Maybe they could. Like voice messages of him making phone conversations as he has the phone when he's in the other car. But as I've seen so far, they don't have that. So no one's seen him in the car. You just have him in the car leaving. I don't know. It could be crazy.
Like, we don't know if there was blood, the fact that he, hid the whole time. What efforts did you actually make to locate Melly? We asked the mother if she was able to get a hold of him. She said she hasn't been able to talk to him. She didn't know where he was at. And you told me that you believe that she lied to you. No, there was an Instagram post. There was an Instagram direct message that she knew where he was at. We didn't find it until months later. I think everyone else there at the hospital knew because, Drew, their film guy, later on determined he was at Frederick Given's house. Jacoby Mills was there at Frederick Given's house, but no one told us. Everyone was telling us they don't know where he was at. So the fact that we couldn't make a contact with him and talk to him, that's when we probably lost a lot of valuable information. Now we're about to get into the phone tracking data. There was 4 phone numbers that I did search warrants to. Well, Melly's number, I believe, might have been in his name. No, it was in his mother's name. This man Melly making all that money and still had a phone plan with his mama. What family member gave you the phone number for Melly? I actually got that one from
That's good. That's good. It's funny how people don't know that.
Miss King. What family member
that's just black culture. You don't know that.
Gave you the number of Thomas? I believe it would be, his aunt was at the hospital. One of the family members, I think it was Chris Thomas Sr., was telling us that the families were receiving payoff money, anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000. From whom? I guess it would have been the management company. Did you subpoena Christopher Thomas Sr.'s bank records to verify this was true or false? Of Jameson Francois, the actual business, and I believe there was money coming out, but who received it, we couldn't determine. And you don't know if the money was coming out for legitimate business, correct? Correct. So he's kind of just assuming that money went out. Well, obviously, a lot of money's going to be going out of a big business account with a rapper. Again, when you say iCloud of Mr. Demons, is that in his name or someone else's name? The iCloud account actually, I believe, was in his name or at least affiliated with him. When you say affiliated with him, do you know how? The YNW moniker or something like that. You know what YNW is?
Let me do a quick mic check. Mic check.
I believe now it's going, they're referring it to as
Yo, what's up, Nick? What's up with you?
Young New World. Back then,
I'm in the chat.
when we interviewed him, it was Young N-Word World. We were looking at a trailer park over at Holiday.
Yo.
Park is one of the
Want to make sure the mic is working.
towers that Chris Thomas hit off of. It's just a tower. It didn't give us the exact location. We looked for video cameras, but we still didn't know where the exact crime scene was. Where was this trailer park at? A couple miles away. No, I think less than that. He's talking about their phones hitting. We know it was on Pembroke Road, but we really didn't have a precise location. And, basically walked out the area, and the K9 was able to find the crime scene. A dog found it, which was marked by 8 shell casings and shards of glass. We saw the pictures of that. How many times were these individuals shot, according to information? It was just multiple times. Okay. You indicate that you found a weapon somewhere in the lake, correct? No, we never found a weapon, sir. No weapons ever recovered. So this is where Felicia, who just was a witness the other day and basically made the prosecution look terrible because she was not a cooperating witness at all. It made them look very bad. But do you recall threatening her in any way? No, sir. When I say threaten, did you ever tell her that if people aren't telling the truth, you go to jail? I mean, she was never suspect or anything like that.
Good,
so there's
man.
no need to
living life, man.
even mention that to her. There was private messaging between Demons and Miss Hamilton. There were messages that Miss Hamilton also later confirmed in her sworn statement. They apparently deposed Melly's ex-girlfriend, but it's not public yet. I cannot wait to see that. That's going to be interesting. Melly apparently said this to his girlfriend like 2 weeks after the murders. He said something like, that N-word Bortland did one of the most realist things and it's his fault if the police come and arrest Bortland. When you say Melly sent this, you're assuming that he's the author of that. Well, I mean, at this point, I don't think it's really an assumption. When Mariah Hamilton confirmed that she's the one that she received it from him. In other words, Mariah Hamilton would be the one to make that statement that she received it from Melly correct. Medical examiner described him as intermediate gunshot wounds. What does that mean? I believe that means 3 inches to 3 feet gun range based upon the stifling pattern, with stifling found on all the injuries. Just Chris Thomas's left cheek. She also said the flight paths of the bullets were from left to right. I also noticed something about the bullet holes. The right side, where they say Melly allegedly staged the drive-by, got out and shot the car. I mean, it's like a perfect circle of bullets, like right here all the way around. It's literally a circle of bullets. Honestly, does seem like it could be manufactured. Oh, this is interesting. Who is Nakaya Bagley? That is Zach Chaser's aunt. What's her statement? She gave us a sworn statement that that Withers was lying to us, according to her. Withers had lied to us. Withers told her that, Melly wasn't in his vehicle, that there were guns that they retrieved from a different location. Guns were thrown in the woods, later retrieved, basically that was her statement. There are so many family members that are wrapped up in this, like so many aunts and moms. If this truly was Melly's plan to do this is the most sloppy murder of all time, right? Like there's no way it was a planned thing in my opinion, like for days on end at least. If Melly really did this, it had to have had a big fight in the car, everyone had guns on them, and shit went down. Like it was out of nowhere within a few minutes. He's talking about Melly and Sack Chaser talking about the $200,000. What evidence do you have that show that they are the authors of those messages? Yeah, the defense is going to really pick this apart and say, how can you prove that these people were saying these messages on the Facebook and the Snapchat accounts? Ping indicated that Mr. Demon's phone was in the area at the time of the incident. It was later that day, right about the time before they went up to Vera Beach for a video shoot. We went out there that day because we assumed the gun may have been thrown in the canal. Who gave you that information? We had no information on that. It was just an assumption. Did you find anything in the canal? No. I searched an area where we believe the guns were thrown in the woods, and what area was that? It's based upon the testimony of Jacoby Mills, placing, Mr. Demon's there, and then later on other individual cell phones that were there as well. I assume Mr. Mills tells you that a weapon was thrown in that area? Yes, sir. So you got to that area, and you find the weapon that Mr. Mills is referring to? No. Because according to Mr. Mills' testimony, several hours after the murder, he was there with Jameson Francois. He ran into an area where it was pointed, and the guns were thrown. He's the one that actually recovered a handgun that actually had blood on it. He brought it back in the car. 100K Track took the gun. It was never found again. That's a bold statement. The detective is saying Melly's manager took a bloody gun, made that bitch disappear. February 15th is when Melly voluntarily surrenders, correct? Yes. I remember when this first happened, when Melly...
Interesting. Isn't all this hearsay though? Interesting. Because...
it was never found again.
If he's telling you something and none of the stuff was actually found out, okay.
That's a bold statement. The detective is saying Melly's manager took a bloody gun, made that bitch disappear. February 15th is when Melly voluntarily surrenders, correct? Yes. I remember when this first happened, when Melly turned himself in, that everyone was like, oh.
As a manager, I ain't gonna lie. My artist, yeah.
He's guilty because he...
Can you blame someone for doing that? Like, bro, if I don't get rid of this gun...
turned himself in.
But come on, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all.
Not everyone wants to go on the fucking run like TK, dude. He's talking about Mr. Withers again, the guy that apparently lied to them about Melly being there in the first place. The guy that was in the red car. His aunt, well, I don't know if it was aunt, Miss Bagley, she recorded talking to him. She spoke with him as well, and she even told us that he had lied to us. Bro's own aunt snitched. As soon as I walk up to him, I turn the recorder on. Why are there instances in which you indicate that you did not turn the recorder? You kind of do a pre-interview before speaking to a witness. You told us that with Miss Holmes' daughter. Yes, when you do that, why do you do that? Why do you start off with it being unrecorded? I think we only did that one time, and I had already spoke with her on the phone, and then I go into the interview. So you recognize that there is a risk of you tainting your investigation by conducting it in that fashion. I don't like the word tainting because I don't think it's tainting the investigation. Would it be fair to say that when you came across evidence that does not tend to jive with your theory, that you don't follow up or verifying its veracity as thoroughly as you would if it does dovetail with your theory? Would that be fair? Could you give me a specific example? For example, you told us earlier believing that there was monetary motive. Do you remember saying that? Yes. And that you believe is because the money that was supposed to come from Mr. Williams wasn't paid to him. Did you verify that it wasn't paid to him? Are you aware of whether contractual obligations of that nature inured to the benefit of the survivor or not? Based on the testimony of Miss Williams, no money was ever received. Okay, were you able to verify that? How? Just speaking to her. Okay, so you left it at that. You didn't follow up in any other way to try and verify whether or not, in fact, that occurred. Did you just decide to rely on her representation? The best that we could see, we didn't see any type of money being paid out or anything like that. And you were saying that you would assume that the money would have come from whatever would otherwise have gone to Mr. Demons. And you verified that how? Well, I tried to issue a subpoena to 300 management in New York, but they refused to honor our subpoena. You know damn sure a record label is going to avoid this at all costs. Based upon the testimony of Jacoby Mills, it was the second crime scene. That's where the guns were thrown, into the wooded area. You previously testified that YNW was a rap moniker, correct? Yes. How many artists are underneath that? I couldn't even begin to tell you. And that's the only thing that YNW is, a rap group, correct? Correct. I think they're trying to clarify that YNW is not a gang. Defense counsel also didn't ask you about the DNA that was found on Mr. Henry's t-shirt, correct? Was Was there any DNA found on Mr. Henry's shirt? Both of the victims' DNA was on Mr. Henry's shirt. And Mr. Henry was wearing that shirt when he was leaving the recorded studio? Yes. And when he arrived at the hospital, had he changed? Yes. He was wearing a black hoodie now instead of a shirt. That's also strange to me. Why would he put a hoodie on over this blood-covered shirt? Trying to hide it? Like, there's no way you're going to be able to hide that. And Melly's phone, apparently his mom's contact name was Brazy Lady. Did he call her Ma in the text messages you reviewed? Yes.
Yeah, but if you're in a panic and you're just like, damn, I don't want to go there looking like bloody fucking mess, like I did something to these niggas, let me put a jacket on. That makes
With
sense.
regards to conversations, was there an argument or disagreement between Anthony Williams and Jamie King, Melly's mom? Yes. What do you know about this? My understanding was that Anthony Williams did not get along with Miss King. He threw her out of the house they were all living at. And so I guess there was tension there. And this is one where she indicates that while they may have guns, she has bigger guns. Yes. So that adds to that theory that, you know, there was tension between Zach Chaser and Melly's mom. And there's that whole video of her. I'll put it on the screen right now.
He's about this life. But I'm saying, like, who the fuck you ever robbed? Who the fuck you ever shot at? If you don't sit your ass down and don't ever come for me, like, what the fuck you got that I ain't?
Yeah, I remember that shit vividly. That doesn't look good. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh,
but still circumstantial. We need actual evidence.
you threaten me with your little gun? I got big guns.
I've always questioned that theory because why would Melly and Sack Chaser be hanging out so much if there was that much tension between Sack Chaser and his mom? Like, it makes
that doesn't make sense either.
no sense to me.
If you have that much beef, why is he chilling? Like, you be chilling the next day, nigga. Like,
Why would they still be hanging out if there was like real tension like that? Did you view the video where Mr. Demons makes a statement about no regrets for the shit I did, and he pantomimed putting a gun to somebody's head and indicates that 2 people were shot in the head? Yes, and it ends with never say when. Somebody did say, yeah, there was 2 videos. One was that one. None of those lyrics, there's nothing in my arrest report or anything that actually makes reference to his lyrics. So a few interesting details that I didn't know about. Apparently they're saying that Melly's manager got rid of a bloody gun a few hours after the murders, but obviously they can't prove that because he isn't charged with anything now 5 years later. And then talking about that video that I want to see about Melly apparently pointing a gun at his head or something, that sounds ridiculous. If there isn't a mistrial, I'll keep covering this. If you're new to my channel, subscribe from my Twitter, Instagram. Love you both.
I'm good. We look at the update. This guy is good. Sometimes he don't understand black culture. It'd be funny. He's like, you have a phone in your mom's name? I'm like, yeah, bro. Yes, bro. In black culture, you have a lot of things in people's names.
A boxer?
That was good.
Is this the regular people fight?